Alright, so Netflix has released a brand new movie where we got Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans battling it out to see who the prettiest white boy in Hollywood is. Not really, but essentially while I was watching this movie, that thought kind of ran through my head and I was like, if you add Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio, and maybe like a few other actors, this honestly could have been a movie where just the most famous white boys in Hollywood battle it out to see who the prettiest person in Hollywood is. That really could have been the thing. I'm not against it. If Netflix wants to use this idea and put an ensemble cast together and make that a movie, I am all in for it. Honestly, it'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty good. As long as Joe and Anthony Russo directed it, or somebody who's going to take it seriously, because if nobody is going to take this movie seriously, they shouldn't make it at all. But other than that, this is The Gray Man. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review for The Gray Man, starring Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, and Billy Bob Thornton. It was directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, and basically our story follows Ryan Gosling, who's this convict who is found by Billy Bob Thornton, who's recruiting these convicts to, sign up for this special ops program where they turn convicts into hitman killers, and essentially after a new person takes over that special ops program, basically they send Chris Evans after Ryan Gosling to kill him and wipe any existence of this program off the face of the earth. And now we have The Gray Man. Basically, look guys, this movie has a very simple premise. It's, a cat and mouse game, catch me if you can type movie. And it takes that simple premise and Joe and Anthony Russo just make it as extravagant as possible. Like, the action in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. I love everything about the action in this movie. Like, I know I say I love everything about this movie a lot, but I love everything about the action in this movie. The hand-to-hand combat, the gun sequences, the explosions. Shoot, honestly, throughout this movie, it's kind of like they're playing gun game. Like, they go from handguns to these extravagant explosive guns to different shotguns. Like, they're playing the gun game throughout the movie, and the Russos know how to keep us not only like intrigued throughout the movie or invested, they know how to keep us entertained throughout the movie as well. Like, the Russo brothers, I really have to give a big shout out to for keeping this movie kind of, together in a sense, because a big problem that I've had with like the past few Netflix movies that have come out, like for example, Man from Toronto, the Six Underground movie with Ryan Gosling, Extraction. There was another movie that came out, like I can't even remember. Red Notice. Oh my gosh. Like, those movies have just been suffering from hiring great stars or, A-ranked stars, and they just use them and they completely just don't worry about anything else in the movie. Like Red Notice, for example, that would have been one of the worst movies of the year last year if Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot were not in that movie. Like, that would have been easily the worst movie of the year, because that movie is horrible. Like, Netflix has just had this pattern where, like I said, they just put their efforts in the stars of the movie, and then like after that they just rely on the bad writing, the bad side characters, the very subpar villains that they end up hiring. Like, they really just let all that coast, and they really make average movies because of it. And this, I am proud to say, is the difference maker. Like, The Gray Man doesn't do any of that at all. Like, they follow those same Netflix patterns, but they actually give efforts to where other movies have lacked in those efforts. Like, they're not trying to make the same movie with just, relying on the fact of, Ryan Gosling and the charm of Chris Evans. Like, they're not just relying on that throughout the entire film. Although, that is a major part of the film, and they're backpacking it, because it's Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling. Like, as long as you have great stars and you have at least somewhat of a good plot and good action surrounding it, you can make a good movie. Like, the Russos didn't overcomplicate this. They didn't try to make anything too extreme. They knew what the premise of this movie was. They knew that it was very simple, and they took that and they just made it into a good movie. Like, they didn't try to do anything over the top, and I appreciate that, because these last few, I'm not the biggest fan of Netflix movies, but I mean, I've seen good ones. Like, there are good ones out there, like What Happened a Monday, that Monday movie, whichever one that is. Essentially Army of the Dead that Zack Snyder made last year. I love that movie. I thought that was a very good Netflix movie, and I was honestly very surprised that, Netflix even got a hold of this, because Netflix movies do not have the best quality. And then another Netflix movie that I can shout out is Hush. Those are kind of the Netflix movies that stand out among the rest, but like the rest of them are kind of just these average projects where they just hire A-listers, and then after that they don't really give much effort to the movie at all. But like I said, Joe and Anthony Russo made sure that they gave actual effort in this movie. You can tell that they give effort throughout the movie, and they just make a phenomenal. Phenomenal is kind of a stretch, but they make a very good movie, a very entertaining movie. And like I said, the action set pieces are to die for. They're the biggest. The action set pieces are the biggest highlights of this film. And then of course, you have your Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, who they just do a phenomenal job. It's Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. I don't think there's ever been an instance where I said I didn't enjoy a performance of Ryan Gosling or Chris Evans. Like even in the Fantastic Fours. Or the old Fantastic Fours, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm was one of the biggest highlights. I had no complaints about him. He was my favorite character in the entire series. And then Ryan Gosling, when do you ever have anything bad to say about Ryan Gosling? Like he's always bringing his best. He's always bringing that charm, that calmness, that smoothness. Honestly, those two characters, they do backpack a majority of the film. The other side characters like Ana de Armas, Billy Bob Thornton, Jessica Henwick, I hope that's her name, the girl from Iron Fist, they actually do really good. And I don't know the actor's name from Bridgerton. I thought he was going to be a very corny bad guy when introduced in the beginning. I thought he was going to be like, oh my gosh, I think this was Guy Pearce in Without Remorse, but I thought that's what he was going to be, like one of those type villains, and I was going to hold my breath because I can't stand Without Remorse. I really thought I was going to go down that path for a second, but then he got better. He got better as the film went on. But Ana de Armas, I'm so glad they actually used her in this movie because she was phenomenal in No Time to Die. Like she was criminally underused in that movie. She was not they didn't give her the potential at all. So she was used a bit better in this movie, and I really enjoyed her part as well. Like I said, as far as what I don't like about this movie, or essentially what I don't like about, Netflix movies themselves, it's really just the fact that they just lack effort in some parts where they don't really want to make the movie whole. Like I said, the Six Underground movie with Ryan Reynolds, Extraction with Chris Hemsworth, I don't even know what that Charlize Theron movie is, but I feel like I've seen those and I felt like they were all the same movie. Like they were just relying on the fact that it's a different star, that they can just make kind of the same story just with a different star and just different action set pieces. It's like I said, I really think the saving grace for this movie was Joe and Anthony Russo directing it, because I think the director makes a big difference, because like I said, Army of the Dead was an absolutely incredible movie and Zack Snyder had to do with that. Now, I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan, but I know that Zack Snyder, when he wants to make a good movie, he will. That's been proven many times. When Zack Snyder wants to put his all into a film, he will put his all into a film, and he'll make an incredible film. And essentially, Army of the Dead was one of those. But it's just I don't really have much complaints about this movie. It is kind of long. I won't lie. It is kind of long, but people are going to have complaints about those. I feel like, I could always complain about a movie being a bit too long or feeling a bit too long. I honestly, at the end there, I was kind of like, I can't even lie to you. It felt like the movie, for me, was almost over at a certain point, and then I checked the time, there was still 39 minutes left. So as far as the pacing goes, I felt like the movie could have been a lot shorter. It really didn't need to be that long. But one thing I do praise the movie for is honestly sticking to this, very simple premise and just getting straight to the point. Like when the movie starts, we're just getting into all the stuff. We're not really just cherry picking over things or glimpsing over, non-important story stuff. We are getting right into what this movie's about, what the story's about, and we're getting straight to the point. Like I said, Joe and Anthony Russo, I really have to give much of the credit to in this movie, because Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans were going to be incredible no matter what. They were either going to backpack this film like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Ryan Reynolds did in Red Notice, or they were essentially just going to be great and I'm sorry, let me say that example again. They were going to backpack the movie Red Notice, but essentially Red Notice just sucked after 50, not even 50 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. That movie just was awful. It was, oh gosh, that movie was very hard to get through, and I really thought that we were going to suffer from one of those efforts, but Joe and Anthony Russo made sure to make a completely different film. They made one where we were thoroughly entertained throughout the movie. Like I said, they did everything in their power to make sure we stayed entertained. The action set pieces are not repetitive. It's not like we're watching the same action over and over. We're given different opponents to watch Ryan Gosling fight. Then we get a big standoff at the end of the movie with him and Chris Evans, and it's just thoroughly entertaining to watch throughout the film. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a pretty decent effort at a Netflix movie. Like I said, Netflix movies kind of turned me off because I just don't necessarily think, Netflix gives their full attention to all of these movies. Like sometimes they'll put their efforts into really big projects sometimes, and then others they kind of just push out there to make and just say, hey, maybe you'll like this because we put this so and so in it. Like I really think that was The Man from Toronto, because without Kevin Hart, like without any of these actors in most of these Netflix movies, they would probably be very C- to D+ esque movies, but the star power kind of helps it. But this movie overall, I really enjoyed. I thought the action was really good. I honestly just, I was just sitting back and enjoying a really good action movie. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Also, no homo, but Chris Evans' physique is just wow. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed. Like, I was I was watching the movie and I'm telling myself, I'm like, bro, I don't know how old Chris Evans is, maybe 35, 36, 37, whatever. I gotta look like that. Like that is like that. I forget the athletes and your favorite athlete, favorite football player, basketball player. The Chris Evans is the dream physique I want when I'm older, because that's incredible. That's all I gotta say. And the mustache, it grew on me. It's good. I can't pull that off. I want to try to. I'm gonna try to. Maybe you guys will see a peek at it, but I don't know. I want to try, but. Look, guys, for all those reasons and so many more, I'm going to give The Gray Man a 3 out of 5 stars. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Look, The Gray Man, have you seen it? What did you think about it? What did you think of Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans' dynamic? Did you enjoy it? Did you not like it? I mean, if you didn't like it, I don't really know what to say, because I feel like it's impossible to hate those two actors. Like, I can't. Chris Evans, just everything he's in, I'm automatically drawn to. Same with Ryan Gosling. I love those two so much. But overall, guys, look, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Look, be sure to go like, subscribe, comment down below. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.